Okay, so welcome you all. That as I discussed that today we are supposed to consider a method that is called the moving iron type of instrument, which is quite different in terms of the principle of operation and also in terms of the construction also. That means both from the construction and the basic principle of operation point of view as compared to the first electromechanical type of indicating instruments we discussed in the last couple of lectures, that is the PMMC type. While you have seen that as far as the PMMC device is concerned, it is a perfect device to measure the analogous value of the voltage and analog value of the current as far as the DC measurement are concerned. Whereas if you see the uh, AC measurement, you can measure the AC voltage and AC current with the help of a PMMC device, but you might have noted down that the efficacy of the PMMC type of devices is gone down to 45% of the true value, okay, of the 100% value when you are trying to measure the AC voltage and AC current using PMMC device. And why it occurs? Because it occurs because of its own design limitations. While in the one hand, it gives you perfect linear response, that means change in angle theta with respect to change in current, input current I. And that is the reason that because of its construction speciality, why it is used because of such a perfect or near perfect linear response. This device is used as a secondary standard or device, referred as a secondary standard device for the calibration purpose, that is for the calibration of the other field instruments which you are supposed to use for the under the head of measurement of voltage and measurement of current. On the contrary to that, because of its own design limitation or the poor efficiency, it is not advised to use PMMC device for measuring the AC values of the current and voltage. So today we are going to consider the another instrument, that is the moving iron type of instrument, which shows that it can measure the true RMS value of the current voltages. That means it is unlike PMMC device, it is highly suitable for the measurement of current and the measurement of voltage as far as the AC signals are concerned. Okay. So, if you see, there are two different type of methods. One we called the repulsion type, and in other words, it is also called the double iron type. So, as you can see in the left half of the schematic diagram, there are the two cores, two soft cores are being used. You see that the pointer where it is mentioned the moving van. Okay, so in moving van, you see there are the two different shafts are being mentioned. Okay, so one van is mentioned. I'm sorry. Okay, so the outer shell, that is the fixed iron van. Okay, so the polarity is primarily, you can say, is a fix as far as the DC signal is concerned, and as far as the AC signal is concerned, the polarity will be keep on changing between the fixed iron van and the moving iron. So the two soft iron pieces are used. One is the movable type, one is the fixed type, and outer is the core where each mentioned there is a coil lead to the meter terminal is mentioned. Okay, which is again fixed cylindrical coil in a nature. So accordingly, due to the direction of the current, because remember if it is a DC side, so direction is uniform, and if it is a AC side, obviously with 180-degree phase shift, the direction will be keep on changing. So the polarity between the moving iron of the moving type and the fixed type will be keep on changing, and because of this, your hairspring is going to put a control over in a particular direction which is opposite to that of the deflection torque, and accordingly the pointer will be keep on moving. The moment when the deflection torque is reaches equal to the control torque, the pointer will be experience a steady state condition, right? Accordingly, if you see the attraction type, I will show you in detail, little detail also. So in the figure number 2, that is in the right half of this particular slide, you see the construction is very different. Now you see that the two dotted lines are mentioned at the upper and the lower bound of the cross section. It is nothing but these are the coils. So coils are mounted. So one is representing, say for example, North Pole and another is the South Pole, for an example. So if I will assume the upper P is the North Pole and southern P is a South Pole, so accordingly, if it is a DC measurements, obviously the direction is fixed. Again, for the AC measurement, this thing will be keep on changing. So accordingly, your pointer is forced to move either in the forward direction or in the reverse direction. Now, this is because of the deflection torque. Why deflection is occur? Because your magnetic coil is experiencing the flow of current. Okay, the current is flowing through this particular moving iron band or the fixed iron band as far as the repulsion type is concerned, and in the attraction type within the coils are concerned between the north and the south. Okay, that means the upper and the lower bound of the coil are concerned. So accordingly, so your pointer is keep on moving either in the forward direction or in the reverse direction. Now that is, you talk about the deflection torque, how the control torque we will experience. So remember that the control torque is applied with the help of the air damping chamber, particularly in the attraction type. You see, you can very easily understand a damper is mentioned, a shaft is mounted over here in this particular case, where you see it is mentioned the piston, and this particular shaft is mounted through a weight that is W1. This is nothing but it is called the balancing weight. Okay, otherwise what will happen, because of this particular piston, the a whole instrument will be inclined over the one particular direction. So remember, this weight W1 is used to apply the control torque over this particular piston, and this particular control mechanism is being handled by the air damping. Okay, so more the pointer is moving towards the forward direction, that means towards the upper direction, that is left to right, higher the weight is being experienced by the particular pointer, so higher the air damping chamber will be experiencing, piston will be moving in the opposite direction. So that's how, with the help of the weight 1 and weight 2, that is the balancing weight, and the control weight W2, the control torque is being applied. And obviously the moment when both the torque are equal, your pointer will experience a steady state condition. This is a more clear and the pictorial view as far as the attraction type of instruments are concerned, what I have been explained to you in the last slide. Okay, so let's see some brief representation of the moving iron type of instruments. You know, as I discussed, that the moving element is nothing but it is the small piece of the soft iron in the form of a van or rod. Okay, in the form of a van or rod. So as far as the attraction type is concerned, in this case, you can say that this particular pointer along with the rod, that means the weight W1 balance weight is basically is used to feel the what you call the moving element. While on the other hand, as far as the repulsion type is concerned, as you can see, the repulsion terminology is used because both the van, basically the fixed van and moving van, are experiencing the opposite polarity. Okay, and because why it happened? Because the current is flowing in the field of the, in the presence of the magnetic field. Okay, so which allow to flow the current through it, and therefore it magnetizes the iron pieces. While in case of the repulsion type, as you can see, a fixed band or the rod is used to magnetize with the same polarity. So that's why I said that it is a type of instruments. So under the head of moving iron type instruments, there are two different principles are used for operating the device. Okay? The control torque, obviously the control torque is provided by applying a spring or the weight, that is through the gravity, okay, as it is mentioned in the W2. Okay. How the damping is being applied? So obviously damping is applied using a pneumatics. That means the air. Pneumatic is the air. So it is an air damping device, consists of a air inside the chamber, okay, which allow a moving man attached to the instrument of the splinter. Okay, so now you noted down in PMMC instrument, we have seen that the damping is applied with the help of eddy current by applying the grating because of the eddy current phenomenon, right? Is experienced by the device. While in this case, the damping is being provided with the help of air, that is the pneumatic type damping. So obviously, which one is more sensitive? Obviously, the eddy current damping is much more sensitive as compared to the pneumatic type. Please be noted this. Anyway, let's see to continue our discussion. Now, you see how it ultimately works. Now, if you want to understand the mathematics of this particular moving iron type of instrument, so the deflection torque in any moving instrument is experienced. It occurs. Why it is occurs? Because of the forces okay, on a small piece of the magnetically soft iron, okay, that is magnetized. Why it is magnetized? Because of the flow of the current through the coil. That is, in other words, it is mentioned as the operating current. Okay. And particularly in the repulsion type of moving iron instrument, it consists of the two cylinders of the soft iron vanes mounted within a fixed current carrying coil. Within a fixed current carrying coil. So we noted down again. This coil leads of the meter terminal is mentioned. It is a fixed current carrying coil. Two vanes are mentioned. One is fixed and one is, okay. That is what it is the in case of the repulsion type. So let us see certain critical points, okay, of the discussion. So how it operates? So one iron van is held fixed to the coil frame and other is free to rotate. Okay, the rotation one, which is carrying with its pointer shaft. Now the two irons lies in the magnetic field produced by the coil that consists of certain number of countable turns. It is not infinite. Certain number of turns if the instrument is used an ammeter, and for many number of turns, more number of turns if you want to use the instrument as a voltmeter. So that means at the time of construction, you have to decide, okay, while you are going to use this moving iron as an instrument, you wanted to use it as an ammeter or you wanted to use it as a voltmeter. If you want to use it as a voltmeter, obviously the number of turns in the instrument should be very high, more number of turns you required. While if you want to use it as an ammeter, you required a lesser number of turns. Okay? Once it is done, once your objective is fixed, that no, I wanted to use it as a ammeter or the voltmeter. In that case, current in the coil induces both vannes to become the magnetized, and the repulsion between the similarly magnetized van produced a proportional rotation. Now the deflection torque, the amount of deflection is being produced is nothing in this whole operation. You will see the amount of deflection is being experienced, that is the proportional to the square of the amount of current flowing through the coil. I repeat that the amount of deflection is being experienced by the pointer, by the spindle, okay, that is this square of the current that is being flow through the uh, coil. Okay? So therefore, making this instrument reading a true RMS value. So that means the theta is proportional to I square rather than I. In case of PMMC device, we have seen that theta is proportional to I. That's why it gives you very highly linear response, but it can't measure the AC signal very efficiently. While in this case, the operation claims that the theta will be proportional to I square. That we will justify using mathematical based modeling little later. Okay. So what is the limitation of these instruments? That what is the limitation now got? Because theta will be square of the I. So that means the relation between the theta, that is the deflection of the pointer, and the input current will no more linear. Now the relation will be non-linear, and that is the reason why that the instrument indicator, that is the pointer, is somewhat crowded in the lower range of the calibration. During the lower range of the supply of current, the result will be more and more non-linear, means leading to inaccurate results. So therefore, it is advised, okay, that if you are going to use moving iron type of instrument, you have to bear with this particular limitation. There are the solutions also that we will discuss in the somewhere in the next scheme. Okay? So you see that as far as the this type of constructions are concerned, as far as the emitter or the voltmeters are concerned. Okay. So in case of emitter, instruments will be obviously used to measure the current in the circuit, and obviously in that case it has to be connected in series with the circuit and carry the current to be measured, as I have been shown you in this particular demonstration. If you want to use PMMC device, connect here in the series as an emitter, and whenever you want to use moving iron instrument as a voltmeter, then you connect across the registers, okay, the load registers. Okay. This LED has no nothing, but it is a job to show the active operation, on and off operation, as far as that indicator is concerned. It acts as an indicator that the current is flowing or not. So that is the reason. Okay. So it is acting as an indicator that whether the device is in active mode or device is in ideal condition. So this current will be flowing through the coil, which is passing through to produce the desired deflecting torque, and the amount of resistance should be low if it is connected in series. Whenever you want to use it as an ammeter. On the contrary to that, whenever you wanted to use as an voltmeter, as you can see, that the instrument should be connected between the 2 points in the circuit, and it should be always connected in parallel. And in that case, you should have a high resistance, because a high resistance of the order of ohms that is connected in series the coil of operation, okay, so that the maximum amount of current will pass through the voltages as per the desired range. Remember that as far this desired range is concerned, here we have seen that its range is around 10 milliampere to hundreds of amperes. Here hundreds of amperes. So there is a no more about the safety features, like we have to take care in case of the PMMC device. This you can pass very high range of the scale of current also through this same instrument without doing any external adjustment. Okay, so that is all about the moving iron type of voltmeter and the ammeters. Now let's see mathematically. Let's say what we discussed in principle. So we are now supposed to justify this, that how the deflection torque theta, okay, or the indicator theta is proportional to I square. Now we will try to justify it using the mathematical model. So let's see. Let us assume the deflection torque of the equation of this moving iron instrument. MI means moving iron instrument. Okay, so is calculated by the amount of mechanical work done. Mechanical work done by the pointer. So how much work it is done? It is a torque into the angular displacement. So let us assume that torque, to calculate the deflecting torque, is measured, is indicated with the help of amount dt, and the angular displacement or small incremental change in the displacement in the angular displacement is going to shown by d theta out of the theta. So if it is so, now there will be a change in the amount of energy stored in the magnetic field. Why it will change? Now because of the change in inductance. So once the inductance is being changed, so therefore the magnetic field will change. To calculate it, let us assume I is the amount of initial current, L is the amount of instrument inductance due to the coil, theta is the amount of deflection. So change in current is di. That small incremental change in current di causes the change in small incremental change in the deflection, that is the angular displacement d theta, and also causes a change in inductance, that is dl. If it is so, in that case the applied amount of voltage must be increased by what? E is equal to d phi by dt, right? Now what is the value of phi? Phi is equal to L into I. So substitute over here. Now can anyone answer that whether the L and I is a constant or not, or both are the variable? Yes, we noted here that once the amount of current is being changed. Why amount of current is being changed? Because of the change in the amount of energy stored in the magnetic field, and this change in amount of energy stored in the magnetic field is changes because of the change in inductance. So remember here, inductance is no more a constant, and current is also variable. So be noted that when you are writing E is equal to d Li by dt, so both L and I are the variable. So now we assume one at a constant. If I am assuming I is a constant, then it is I dl by dt, plus whenever I assume L is a constant, in that case it is L di by dt. So that's how the total amount of applied voltage or electromotive force is equal to I dl by dt plus L di by dt. That is the equation number 1. I hope that it is clear to you. Now, what is the amount of energy supplied to the measuring instrument? What is the amount of energy? That is EI dt. Clear? So, because W is equal to P into dt and power is equal to E into I. Okay? So, W is the amount of work done or the amount of electrical energy supplied. Now, what happened if the electrical energy supplied is EI di by dt, EL di by dt? Now, value of E you know from the equation number 1. So, substitute the value of over here so that we can represent with the lesser number of terminologies. So when you will substitute it, because remember input is the current, not the voltage to these instruments. These are the current sensitive devices, right? In the beginning of the lectures, I've been told you in the past two lectures. So therefore, in that case, the amount of energy supplied is equal to I square dl plus IL into di. Okay, you remember it is di. Clear? So therefore, the change in stored energy will be how much? So change in stored energy will be half of I plus amount of change in current is di square, I square into L, that is L plus dl minus what is the actual amount of energy before going to change in the stored energy, that is half of I square L. So substitute, subtract it. I'm sorry. So approximately you will expand this particular equation. I would all of you advise that to take this problem as an assignment question, that prove that mathematically that the displacement, change in displacement as far as the moving iron instrument is concerned, okay, it is proportional to the change in I square value, okay, and derive the expression. So while you will consider this expression, take it as a today's assignment question, okay, and solve it in your assignment sheet. So don't skip the steps, open this entire expression, cancel whatever the required term. Now you see it is approximately equal to IL dl plus half of I square L. Clear? Now, what is ILDL? What is the order of I here? I raised to 1. Now, what is in second order equation? That is I square. So, by neglecting the second and a higher order terms, okay? By neglecting the second and a higher order terms, you are getting this approximate statement where the change in stored energy is equal to approximately I into L dl plus half of I square L. So, therefore, the change in stored energy will be is going to indicated by the principle of energy conservation of energy, which obviously states that the amount of electrical energy supplied is equal to the mechanical amount of work done plus the increase in the stored energy. So what is the amount of energy is stored or is increased, or I would say that change, that is ILDL plus half of I square L. What is the amount of mechanical work done, that is TD into d theta. What is the amount of electrical energy supply? So that is nothing but it is equal to I square dl plus IL to dl. Okay, that is the amount of supplied, that is the amount of change in energy, that is the amount of mechanical work done. So both should be equal. So when you will compare this particular statement, you see it is, we can say that half of I square dl is equal to dd into d theta by cancelling the equal terms. Okay, so therefore if you will remodify this equation, then we can say that td is equal to half of I square dl by d theta. Now dl by d theta, remember it is an incremental change in inductance, okay, or you can say that the incremental change in theta due to the change in inductance. Okay, so it's a very incremental value. So once it is not allowed to change, so this dl by d theta will be a constant. So ultimately half is also constant. So in other words, can I say that my td is proportional to I square, and what is the unit you will get? It is Newton meter. Okay, so I would advise that substitute all the values of the unit and finally try to find out that whether you check that whether you are getting the unit value Newton meter or not during the expression. Okay. Now you know that the pneumatic mechanism is used to apply the control torque by applying the control weight. So that TC, that control weight, control torque due to the influence of the gravity is assuming that it is proportional to the d theta. Now that let us assume that proportionality constant is K2 or Ks, whatever you want to write. So in the steady state condition, what will happen? This deflection torque, which is half of I square dl by dt, should be equal to Ks d theta. So it's steady state condition. Only your pointer will settle down, will reach to a particular point only if you can say that it is reaching to a steady state condition. If it is so, in that case, what will happen? Your theta, as you can see in this particular expression, is proportional to I square. That is the reason why MI type of instrument, that is the moving iron type of instruments, are able to read the true value of the RMS voltage or current, true RMS values of the operating current. And okay. So that is the reason, because of this mathematical expression, it is justified, okay, or with the special class of the construction of these kind of instruments, whether it is attraction type or the repulsion type doesn't matter. Every type, okay, both the type of moving iron instruments can measure the true RMS value of the operating and therefore the operating losses as compared to the PMMC what it can't be offered. So what are the advantages we see? These instruments are highly suitable. They are suitable for the use in both AC and DC circuit. The instruments are robust, owing the simple construction of the moving part. Stationary part of the instrument are also simple to construct. Okay, instrument is of the low cost as compared to the moving coil type of instruments. That is your PMMC type of instrument. So as compared to PMMC type of instruments, if you want to buy the moving iron type of instruments, it's very cheap. Torque to weight ratio is very high. That is the good thing. So because the torque to weight ratio is very high, therefore it is experiencing the lesser amount of friction error. Okay. So due to the friction, the amount of pointer is not going to much increase. What are the disadvantage? Obviously, the coil is there, so it is influenced through the temperature. Now, unlike the PMMC type of instrument, there is a no mechanism of swamping instruments over here. Okay, so error due to the friction is quite small, though the torque to weight ratio is very high. Okay, the same is the disadvantage. Stray field causes the relatively low value of the magnetizing forces produce a coil. So therefore, efficient magnetic screening is required to reduce the effect. Otherwise, the stray losses will be the high. Okay, error due to the variation in frequency. If there is a variation in your supply frequency, is also causes the change in the reactance value of the coil and therefore changes the eddy current indicating the neighboring metals. Okay, deflection torque is not exactly proportional. That is the biggest disadvantage. That is the major disadvantage. The principle of operation itself is a major disadvantage, you can say, because the deflection torque is not exactly proportional, okay, to the square of the current due to the nonlinear characteristics of the iron metal. So it is also experiencing the iron I square R loss. I square R loss is the core loss. Okay, so it is also experiencing the core loss. Okay, so that is the end of this particular lecture. Okay, so if you have any doubt, you can discuss with me. Yes.